Hey guys, Aaron here, Outrunning Ordinary. Today, working on our Terramite T5C. It's our mini backhoe. This is actually my favorite machine. We've got a lot of bigger ones. This thing has been on a lot of jobs and been with us for a very long time. Up in the corner, you can see some jobs. On with this in the past. What we're going to do today, this thing stopped running. We're at our place. We are trying to use it today and it died on us. Long story short, this has been a 670cc Predator. I think it's a 24 horsepower, maybe 23 horsepower engine swap. What's happened is the carburetor has got gummed up, cleaned up, junked up, jets are dirty, air filter's dirty. We're not sure. What we're going to do, and I'm filming this for you guys, we're going to take this bag of tools, which I brought over here. Look at this little plastic bag. I think Brad was in this. We're going to take a pair of pliers, a wrench, and a couple screwdrivers. We're going to take the carburetor assembly apart. We're going to clean the total jets on site while we're here. We'll probably do it on the hood here, and I'm going to tape it for you guys. So if you have equipment, you have older machines, you have dirt bikes, four-wheelers, there's all kinds of things now still run carburetors and carburetor setups. Carburetors can be your friend. Carburetors should not be, you should not be afraid of them. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you routine maintenance that you're supposed to do. This is the first time, I guess the second time we've got it out this year. We haven't cleaned the carburetor out or done it jet-wise cleaning or air filter. We haven't really done maintenance on this for a while. It's been wintertime. It's been cold. We haven't done a lot. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this apart. We're going to show you guys how I do this. I've had a lot of success in cleaning these things. Usually we do this in the shop as a maintenance thing. We're doing this on site in the middle of a field. So lucky us. We're going to show you how you do it. This applies to almost every carburetor system on the planet. This, again, is just on our Predator swapped 670cc. I believe it's a 24 horsepower engine. I'm going to open the engine bay up. I'm going to try to film this for you guys so you can see it and show you how we do it. So, Outrunning Ordinary, like and subscribe if you like stuff like this. We're going to show moms, dads, grandparents, basically anybody. If you've got a carburetor, that's okay. We're going to teach you how to do it. So, you keep them clean. You clean the jets out, you do what you're supposed to, you're going to have a really good chance of a high success of this thing running and operating over time. Long story short, eventually we'll probably install a throttle body or a fuel injection kit. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. We're going to probably do that. There are some, as you can see in the picture over here, there are a couple options online where you can fuel injection or throttle body swap these. We might do that later. However, this is still the stock carburetor. We did this engine transformation about 2 years ago now. Have maybe 15-20 hours. We don't use this too much, but 15-20 hours on the actual engine swap. That was a cool process. I wish I videotaped it. We might take it apart sometime and show you how that works. So we're going to take this apart carburetor wise. We're going to clean it for you guys out. Again, bag of tools, pliers, a couple screwdrivers, and wrench. That's all we're doing. Notice we're not sponsored by anyone. If you can see this, if I can zoom in, this is our tool of choice today. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. It's Snap-on 10mm. Snap-on, if you're watching this, we've used a lot of your tools. We've got your boxes. We've got a lot of stuff. Hey, just saying. But we're going to use a Snap-on wrench, 10mm. Take this apart and go from there. Outrunning Ordinary. All right, guys. Here we go. Let's open the hood up. And let's see what we got. Okay, here we go. Here is your Predator 670. I can pull this off, or you'll see it here in a second. I don't know if you can see it. Based on the camera settings, we'll adjust it. The sun is super in my face right now, so I might have to switch directions to see. But long story short, carburetor's under here. We're going to take all this apart. I'm going to film this so you guys can see this. And hopefully I can find a way to mount this camera in a position that allows us to fully see it. So I'm going to start undoing some stuff, and let me get this positioned and see if we can do this. All right, guys, hopefully you can see this. Again, super bright out here. If you can see my shadow moving, I hope you guys can see this. I got it positioned as best as we can for what we're doing. Now, camera, should have probably used a camcorder on a stand and tripod. Didn't do it because we're in the field. That's okay. So, what we're going to do, we are going to take our bread bag. Maybe it was something else, not sure. But what we are going to do is we're going to start taking this apart. So, first things first. Already noticed, probably don't have a good set of pliers, but I've got a pair of needle nose. So we're going to start taking these off, which these are the little front cover bolts. I'm not really sure. We're going to take these off, and what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to open this carburetor assembly up. Sometimes you got to do a little bear strength, a little dad strength. Grip it and go. Man, that was a little tight. These things are just plastic, if you can see. They're just plastic. If you're familiar with a lot of these small engines, they are the, front cover bolts. Whole front cover is going to slide out. This is going to come out like so. Oh, look, there you go. Hopefully you can see that. I can't see the camera at all. So, Predator 670, Predator swap. We have had pretty good success with this. Now, again, this used to be a Kohler engine. I think this came factory from Terramite. Came factory with a Kohler 22, 23, 24 horsepower. I'm not exactly sure. Believe it or not, the air filter is not too dirty, so that's cool. But anyway, Kohler, long story short, it died on us, I guess 2 years ago, like I said. And what ended up happening was, let me make sure this camera is actually working. Good, it's good. Okay, cool. What had happened, we dropped a cylinder. This is a V-twin, or a 2-cylinder engine, V-motor. And what we did is we lost a cylinder on the original Kohler. And I don't remember which one. I think it was this one over here. I don't know if it was number 1, number 2. I don't know how they do the bank setup. Long story short, I took it apart. I put a new piston in it. I actually have pictures of this. I'll see if I can show you guys that on the old. This is a project we did 2 years ago. See if I can find some pictures and upload it. Long story short, dropped the cylinder, took it apart, put new piston in it. I saw the piston was super scored, or really scored, which means it was hitting the cylinder wall where it's not supposed to. Kind of dinged up the actual cylinder wall in the engine. These are just a cast iron setup, or the Kohler was, I believe. But anyway, long story short, it nicked up the cylinder, nicked up the piston, nicked up a whole bunch of stuff, and put a new piston in it, put new rings on it, put the whole 9 yards, actually put a cylinder hone to it, and kind of made it a little better. I did not take it to a machine shop. It really wasn't worth it. And I tried to fix it. And long story short, I got it to run again. It was missing before, because that's why the Kohler one messed up. It was missing before, missing as the engine was misfiring. And I got it to run, got everything to work like it was supposed to, but then for some reason, it just didn't run very well for long. It would randomly, intermittently like miss. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a spark issue, or it could be a fuel issue with carburetors and jets and all kinds of stuff. Well, anyway, long story short, I ended up getting tired of messing with it, and I decided to swap the whole thing. And what I swapped to was a Predator 670, which is this engine platform here. We got it at Harbor Freight. At the time, I believe it was only $700 or $800, maybe less, maybe $600. I don't remember the exact cost of it. But what it did was we bought the engine, and we noticed when we finally got it all hooked up, we got a performance increase. We actually got pretty decent power out of it, and we had a pretty good torque curve that we didn't have before. Now, I don't know if it was because it had more horsepower. I don't know if it was the fact that it was just a little bit bigger engine. I think the original, I could be totally wrong here, I think it was 500 something cc's, or maybe a little bit smaller in the original Kohler. I know it was a couple of horsepower less. Maybe it was a 20. Oh, it was a 20 horsepower engine actually. And I say that. Side note, there's a, I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera. Yeah, here was the original. See if I can show this here. Here was the original. Okay, this is why we noticed the horsepower increase. There's the original horsepower, 20 horsepower engine service information. Right there. Wow, that's hard to do on a camera. Yeah, so it was a 20 horsepower Kohler, and there's the old Kohler Command Pro 20, or Kohler Command 20. That was it. What I'm doing, side note, I'm taking your fuel pumps under here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Massive glare on my end. You got your fuel filter here. Fuel filter goes on into your actual fuel pump. Your fuel pump is a vacuum driven pump. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this hose off so I can take this carburetor out, just so you guys know. So I'm just talking and making conversation while I try to disassemble this. Which, side note, I've done a couple of these videos now. And not that I try to ramble, but it's a little difficult, or a little more difficult than I realized, to sometimes talk, do something that you're supposed to do, and then try to make sure everything stays together. So, oh, perfect. Fuel's out. Okay, cool. Now, here is our fuel setup. Pull this up here. Hopefully you guys can see this again. Here's our little rubber grommet. I believe they're called a grommet or a bushing. But what it does is it goes in this little aluminum plate, and it allows us to not cut the actual fuel line when its engine's, you know, running or vibrating or whatever. Now, next thing we've done, so we've disconnected fuel. We've got the air assembly or the air filter housing. Everything's off. Here's your actual carburetor right here. Notice there's a bunch of dirt. I don't know if you guys can see this. Hopefully, look at that. There's a ton of dirt through here. So this machine obviously works off-road. It definitely works in dusty environments. It's not clean all the time, and so it's very prone, and this applies to dirt bikes and four-wheelers and all kinds of stuff, very prone to getting clogged up, very prone to getting dirt into it, and basically just getting jets and all kinds of stuff in the actual carburetor to gum up in a way that your engine stops running. So, long story short, this did not fire when I tried to get it to fire earlier. I pulled it out of our storage unit, and then I couldn't get it to run afterwards. What I'm doing, I just undid our spring for our throttle cable. I'm trying to undo this little clip, and this little clip holds our actual connector together. I'm trying to do this with a pair of needle nose pliers, and it's, of course, being a little more difficult than it's supposed to. See if I can lift this clip up. Oh, beautiful. Now, notice, boom. Hopefully you saw that, or you guys can see it. I just took the actual, I think that's actually the governor. So the governor spring and the governor lever, because that's our governor it's attached to. I can see it. This right here attaches to our governor. Our throttle cable, hopefully you can see that, is right here. Runs down here, moves this position. See if I can move this so you guys can see this. See if I can. Cool. So hopefully you guys can see that. Oh, you can. Good, good, good. So this plate right here, or plate, this cord, moves this lever and these little assemblies back here. My glasses are all gummed up now. Moves this little assembly back here. And then this is attached to a governor, so it doesn't over rev or do a bunch of stuff. And there's a spring, not sure if you guys can see it. So when all this stuff moves, and here's our choke. Choke goes right here in positions here. See if I can move that for you, if you can see it. There's our choke. And that moves a lever in our carburetor, which is right here. Here's our choke lever. Anyway, this is our governor spring. So when we open this thing up, spring pressure opens this, which controls the throttle. I guess the butterfly, which is the throttle plate, I guess. Yeah, the throttle plate up in here. This pivots here. But anyway, spring, or throttle cable moves a lever, which moves a spring, which moves the actual governor. The mechanical governor then moves a butterfly or the actual throttle plate inside here for the carburetor, and that's what makes it go. When the engine hits a certain RPM on the inside of this, which you guys won't be able to see because I've got it positioned to where the camera's outside of the engine and this is inside. It's got a little, I'm going to call it a gear, and it drives off the oil pump. Maybe it drives the oil pump. I'm not sure which one, but long story short, it's got a little gear in here and it's got little weights, and then the faster the engine goes, the more the weights, and think of like a little actual moving piece, spin. And when it spins, it goes against a lever inside here, which I'll show you. I might have a picture of this, or I can probably pull it up online. What it does is it slows the engine. So the engine continuously runs when it's running, obviously. And what it does is the faster the RPM, it moves a lever inside off of a gear and slings a couple weights. And I'm probably explaining this in a weird way, but basically it's how it works. And it mechanically slows or controls idle at wide open throttle. Not idle, controls RPM at wide open throttle, so you don't just grenade this thing. I know that seems like a lot. It's kind of complicated. It's really not complicated, but I probably said it weird. Point is, that's another video, another day. But what I'm doing now, so here's our choke position. We're going to pull this out. Here's our choke lever. Choke is disconnected, throttle is disconnected. In all reality, fuel is disconnected. In all reality, we are able to pull this carburetor assembly out. Now, in general, what you're supposed to do is clean this somewhat in a way that you don't get dirt and other stuff in the engine. And obviously there's grime and dirt and all kinds of stuff. So what I'm going to do before I really take this apart, I'm going to take 1 second and I'm going to grab a can of carburetor choke cleaner and I'm going to spray this out. I'm just going to spray in here. If you want, and this is smart, I'm going to do it so we don't get stuff into the actual engine. This is into the carburetor. All I'm doing is spraying off of your air mixture screws. These are your air mixture or fuel mixture screws, which I'll show you that in a second. But all I'm doing is cleaning this off somewhat, so when I disassemble this, I don't get a whole bunch of crap in the engine. So let's try this. This is carbon choke cleaner. This is what we're going to use. I'm going to spray this off. Look at that. Cool deal. Now, you don't need a whole lot. I'm just doing this again so we get the carburetor halfway clean externally so we can take this apart and take it out. Now, I've got this in here. It's a good rule of thumb to keep it covered or protected, especially being out here in the open. Notice there's some paint flakes and some grease and some dust. And again, tons of dust through here, if you can see that. So that's what happens when you work outside. And this is a mini backhoe that's on job sites and digs things. I mean, this is in the most dusty environments you could ever think of. So if I can find my 10mm, which apparently is the most lost wrench on the planet, I'm going to undo the 3 carburetor bolts that actually hold this in here. I'm using a wrench because that's what I had readily available. Sometimes you can use a ratchet or it's a 10mm bolt, but you can use a ratchet or you can use a socket with a impact tool. I just don't have one with me right now, so that's why we're doing this by hand. So get them loose, pull them out with your hand. 3 bolts, disassemble this. Again, this is a snap-on wrench. You guys don't have to have snap-on. Long story short, I used to work in a bunch of dealerships and actual like automotive dealerships and industrial technology places, and used to run my own business for a while where I was working on these things. And I have tools which were supplied by trucks that came via routes to the shop. Now, all that means is snap-on, for example. I've got a couple Matco, and I think Cornwall, I believe. I don't remember the name of them. I don't see them up here. This was down in Georgia when I lived down there. And this was years ago. I feel like that was another lifetime ago. But long story short, I would buy tools and tool companies that would come to the shop. So there would be routes or drivers or distribution chains where people and drivers would show up to the shop, and they would fix tools, buy tools, warranty tools, supply us tools, whatever. So long story short, that's why I have Snap-on. I'm not diehard Snap-on. There's a lot of brand specific people out there. I am not one of them. Whatever works, works. If you've got a Harbor Freight or if you got your Grandpa's Craftsman, a wrench is a wrench. I don't care what they say. I know Snap-on's probably blacking out when I say this. They are really nice because there's a lifetime warranty on them. They are really nice because they've got a good grip about them. If you guys work with wrenches and tools every day, you guys could probably relate to this. I don't know what this wrench costs, but I know it was a heck of a lot more than like a Harbor Freight one. They do have little grooves. Snap-on will appreciate this. I'm calling them out right now. They do have little grooves in here for extra rounded bolts and other things. I don't know the exact technology behind it, which I can show you a picture hopefully in this video, but they have little grooves in here. Really good tool. Snap-on is an amazing tool. It really is. I'm not saying they're not. Well, are they the best? It's hard to say. For us, we really liked them. But again, the big thing that we did, they would show up to the shop we worked at, or the shop that I owned at the time. The driver would show up. A truck would, literally a Snap-on truck would show up, and that's why I bought stuff, because it was kind of brought to me. So, long story short, Snap-on, really good product. If you have the money, buy them. They're a lifetime warranty forever. You'll never have an issue. If you don't have the money to buy them, buy something else. I think Harbor Freight and other ones have warranties as well. But good stuff. So, what we're doing now, carburetor is disassembled. Here is our air mixture or fuel mixture screws. I'll show you that in a second. We've got our carburetor plugged up. I have got the intake. I have got another rag, which is just a paper towel. We're going to pull this out. Now, I haven't done this in a minute, and I just see what it is. This has got a separate fuel shutoff solenoid, and you can't see it, but it's down inside here. And what it does, you disassemble or unattach it by lifting up and twisting out. Now notice the whole carburetor just came out. This, hopefully you can see. I'm going to, if you guys can see this, there is your throttle body spacer or carburetor spacer, whatever you want to call it. It's an air spacer for your carburetor attach. I'm going to block this up right now. I'm just putting a rag in here. Guys, you do not want stuff in your engine. This is a direct shot into the actual intake. Now, the intake of this actual machine. Here's what's going on. Again, here's our governor. Here's our spring, if you can see, that is controlled with our throttle. Our throttle moves up and down, and notice it actually moved a little bit. So check this out. This moves, and it moves a little bit, which goes right here. That controls your throttle. Here is your choke, which again is right here in this little spot. And that choke goes right here. So here's our choke thing. And I'm going to take this off for now. Actually, I'll hold that because I'll lose it. I'm outside. So next thing we're going to do, I am going to close this hood. I am going to then show you guys what we do. So bear with me. Let me close this hood. Let me see if I can reposition this camera and get this going. And those of you that are still with me, I'm going to teach you how to do this. So let me hit stop, and here we go. All right, guys, we actually had to switch cameras here. I had to switch locations. Apparently, cameras get hot and don't want to work in the sun. So super cool, lucky me. Okay, I'm just going to jump into this. Again, different camera, but we're going to make this as best as we can. I put this down in the engine thing, or down the floor of the old machine. But we're going to show you how this works. Hopefully you guys can see this. This might be the hardest video I've ever filmed to date because the sun's out. I'm on the machine, I'm in the field, and I'm trying to show you guys how I do this without just straight up doing it. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just spray off air fuel mixture screws. Spray these off. You want to get some of the dirt off. You want to make sure this is clean as much as possible before you really disassemble this. Now, I'm gonna move kind of fast because I don't know how much time I have on the camera before it overheats. Again, different camera, side note. Okay, first thing we're gonna do, notice this is, again, your fuel shut-off solenoid. I've disassembled this. That's a long story. I already told you about it. Different topic. I'm going to pull this fuel bowl off. I'm going to show you what the inside looks like. These are your air mixture screws. What our objective is to disassemble everything, clean everything, get to the jets, get to the breathing ports, get to the butterfly, get to the throttle plate, get to everything, clean the dust, dirt, and grime, which is clearly everywhere. So in my little bread basket of tools, I'm going to pull out a Phillips screwdriver. Again, hopefully you guys see this. What I've done is I've used the carbon choke cleaner to spray off, which is the Gum Out. I love these guys' products. Gum Out, we're not sponsored by you, but I bet we spend $2 grand a year. That's a joke, but it's a lot. Just using stuff to clean out. A lot of our stuff is carbureted. Our old Jeeps are carbureted. Our four-wheelers are carbureted. Not the new ones, but the old ones. A lot of toys are like this, including this machine. So, get the dirt off as much as you can. We're going to start disassembling. Hopefully you guys can see this, and I do this in a way you can see. So, first things first. If I can do this, I have no power tools. I'm doing this all by hand, so you guys can see. Also, didn't think to bring power tool because, you'll have that. There's a little bit of dirt's getting in here. That's okay. So, I'll clean it. Take this out. Notice, by the way, this solenoid, just knocked more dirt in, sick, is pointed towards the intake side. So this bowl can get turned around. Don't. The solenoid goes to the fuel shutoff solenoid, right here, goes to the intake side. Okay, I'm going to undo these Phillips. Set them to the side. This is your fuel bowl. I was going to do this anyway today, and again, I want to show you guys how to do it. Glad I'm filming. Those of you with me, hopefully you're learning something. This applies to essentially every carburetor on the planet. Some are a little different. Some have more than one jet. Some have more than one cylinder. Obviously, this is a 2-cylinder. Obviously, conceptually, they're all the same. If someone disagrees, then they haven't worked on enough carburetors because they're basically the same. So, here's what we're doing. Fuel bowl comes off. Let me show you what's under here if you're curious. Boom, look at this. Here's our fuel bowl. What can happen, and this doesn't look like it's done it so far, what can happen when engines sit for a long time, again, this is sat since wintertime, what can happen is there can be gum and other stuff in here. By the way, I don't know if you guys can see it, the solenoid, there's a gap. Let's see if I can use a tool to point for this. If you can see my screwdriver, here's your fuel solenoid. There's a little plunger it's supposed to be in here, and I disassembled that. There's a gap there. There's a spring and a plunger. I took all of it apart. It flooded on me one time and I got mad and said I'd never use it again, so I put a mechanical manual shut off. So anyway, here's the point. Here's your fuel bowl. Notice that's clean. I'm going to put this down so dirt doesn't get in here. Also, just drop dirt in here. Sick. Okay, next thing we're going to do. Bread basket of tools. Here's our float. This is upside down, but the principle's the same. This is your plastic float. If you can tell, there's a little spring. I'm going to try to hold this. There is a little spring right here and a actual needle. If you can see it, hopefully you can. It's very tiny. It's right in this brass setup. And here are your jets. Here is your high idle or high wide open jet. I don't know, one's a high, one's a low. I don't know the names. I'll show you how it works. But the point is, we're doing this to get it going because it died on us. So here's your needle in this right here. Here's your float. And what happens, your float, and this is upside down, I don't want to turn it. But what happens is your float will stay, or sorry, when it's upside down, I was just turning, shoot. There's a needle in here, you gotta be careful. Okay, here's how this works. Here's your carburetor. Obviously I got it positioned differently. Here's your throttle plate for your thing, I'll show you. When your fuel is full, this is going to go up and the needle is going to move up. So when the needle, which I don't know if you guys can see, when a needle, I can see it, hopefully you can. When the needle moves up with the fuel bowl on, fuel comes in, needle moves up, it stops fuel flow coming in right through here. When it comes down, fuel fills up. All the fuel through the carburetor goes through this little needle, which again, hopefully you guys can see this. I'll put a Google image up so you can see it. There's a needle right in here, this very tiny needle. I'm not going to disassemble that right now, but I could if I wanted to. This pin slides out here, which actually I just almost moved. This whole float comes off and that needle comes straight out. You want to make sure it's clean. We're out in the dirt. I'm not trying to disassemble any more than we have to. Again, the reason we're doing this is this thing doesn't want to run on us right now. So I'm going to take the actual jets out. It would be super helpful if I had a screwdriver that fit. And we're going to take the jets apart and out and try to clean them. Cool. Too small screwdriver, too big. Let's see if this one gets. I might have to get another screwdriver stick. I have to get a different screwdriver. Man, the one size screwdriver I don't have. It's like the little bear in the porridge. All right, I'm gonna have to shut this camera off and get a different screwdriver. So super helpful if you have the right tools. Again, I did not. My bread basket of tools has failed me here. That I did load the bread basket, but you can see these have to just twist out. My screwdriver is just too tiny and I'm spinning. This one's too tiny as well. And they're in there kind of snug, not too snug. It helps if you have the right tool. So that doesn't fit. Let me go get this. I'm going to put a towel over this. I'll be right back and I will try this again. So nothing like round 2, right? So let me cover this up. I'll put this bowl in here just in case and I'll be right back. Let me shut this off. All right, guys, I am back. Now, got a right screwdriver. It's not the one I normally use, but it'll work. Okay, where were we? Now, this is our fuel bowl. Again, we're going to pull this off. You want to keep dirt out. This is definitely not ideal. We are out in a field. I just want to show you guys this is possible if you are in the field. Technically, go to a shop, use an air compressor, clean all this off before you get to it. However, if your thing's stranded like ours is, it is what it is. I think I said this earlier. I don't know if I did. This thing ran, we pulled it out, and then it died on us. And usually, I didn't check for spark or do anything, but usually when that happens, it's always a carburetor issue with us. And again, we've done this before. But we're going to take everything apart and just clean it. So here's where we are. Helps get a screwdriver. This one is 15 feet long, so I don't even know if you can see the handle, but this is here. So these are your jets. Again, one's a high, wide open throttle, one's low, idle, or in between. I don't know which one it is. Doesn't matter. Let me show you how this works. So we're going to unscrew these. Next thing I'm going to do, hopefully, let me check this is still recording. Cool. All right, cool beans. Now, next thing we're going to do, we are going to try to create a clean workstation here. Super impossible, I know. Try not to block the camera. We are going to unscrew this right here. Notice this is a jet. Here's one of your jets. It's got a little hole in it. Yeah, don't let it roll like I just did. Here is jet number 2. Again, one's for low, one's for high. Low idle, low RPM, low throttle range. I don't know which one's which. Doesn't matter. Now, next thing. You got to be careful when you do this. If you can see, and I dropped more dirt in here. So cool. Here's your needle. Here's your float. Here are your jets inside here. Normally, these should fall out. There's one. Perfect. They were easy. Cool. Notice they fell out. Hopefully you saw that on camera. Here. Oh, shoot. And there's dirt on it. Actually, it's fresh, so it could be different. Here is the jet. So, again, high idle, low idle, wide open throttle. I don't know. I'm not here to get into the science behind it, but I'm just telling you what works for us and what to expect. So, I have matched these. I had somebody ask me this one time on another job, and these look identical to me. I'm just rolling them around. I've matched them, or put them in different holes, done whatever. Basically, whatever we have an issue when it's running, especially when it's wide open throttle or under load. One of these usually gets clogged. One of these is what shoots fuel up through here. I say shoot fuel up here. It's not how it works technically, but I'm just telling you how general works. I'm going to hold this little. Hopefully you can see this. You can, cool. I'm going to hold this lever. There's a lever in here which this whole float slides up. I don't want to do that. I'm going to hold this so it doesn't move. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to hold this up. Hopefully you guys can still see this. Yep. I'm going to position this. Okay. Trying to hold this. Next thing you want to do, this is your air mixture screw. On these Predator 670s, and I'll show you this in a second. I'll use this screwdriver. It's only a full rotation and usually a quarter. look up from a manufacturer what the actual air mixture screws are per carburetor. For us, I don't know. These actually, let me rephrase. These 670 carburetors, here's a fun fact for you. These Predator 670 carburetors, if you can tell, they had, or you can't tell now, this right here is not it, but this is a solid plate. You're not supposed to adjust this. These Predator 670 normal, as a standard stock carburetor, comes with a plate just like this. If you can see this where my screwdriver is pointing. This right here, again, part of the carb housing. But this plate right here used to come across here. This was non-adjustable on the carburetor received, as in the when we first got the engine. What you do, what I did, I took a drill or a punch, either one works, drilled a little hole and took a screwdriver and pulled these out. And again, these are a smooth plug or a dummy plug that used to be on each of these air fuel mixture screws. I'm telling you, if you have experience, you know what I'm talking about. If you've never seen this or say, hey, this carburetor is not adjustable from factory, you're right. They do it for emission stuff. They do it because these are Chinese engines. I don't know if China's got different EPA regulations. I don't know if they have EPA regulations. I don't know if the US is just so astronomically strict. I don't know. But these adjustment of these air mixture screws that I'm about to unplug and clean out is non-adjustable from the factory. You buy the engine, you buy the carburetor. You must take a screwdriver, take a punch, take something, and get this dummy plug, for example. And I'm trying to see, yeah, right here. You can see this. I'm looking at it. So this dummy plug, which again, right here, that would be here. And it would be covered. It would be non-adjustable. Again, if you know what you're talking about, or if you've seen this before, you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Always, or I'm looking at something else. I always take them out because you want to adjust it. The temperature changes on carburetors, or temperature. When the temperature changes, when the weather changes, when atmospheric pressure changes, like you're in the mountains, you're down by the ocean, whatever, air pressure, which I think it's like a 14.1 ratio or 14.6 air fuel ratio mix or something, or pounds per square. I don't know what it is. You can look this up. Here's the point. Pull these little plugs off, little dummy plugs like I have done, and you can get access to these. I'm telling you, I'm saving you a headache. Always pull. First thing I do when I get these engines, these carbs, I take them apart. So here's your air mixer screw. Bank 1 or 2, I don't really know which cylinder it goes to, but anyway, here is this. We're going to pull this out. Now, notice, lots of dirt, tons of dirt in here. Sick. Also could happen when I just pulled it out. But here's your air mixture screw. Here is one of them, and it's got a ton of dirt, so super possible that's why this isn't running either. This controls either the air or fuel mixture to the engine. Some of these screws do the air, some of these screws do the fuel. Which one this runs, air or fuel, I'm not sure on this motor, and it doesn't matter at this point. I'm just showing you from a systematic disassembly cleaning video. This is how we do it. So we're going to unscrew this. Notice I didn't even count the rotations of what you're supposed to set these at mixture wise, because I'm going to set them at 1 1/4. You also, if you wanted to, you could always put this in there and tighten it all the way up and then count your revolutions coming across. Another way to do it is to mark a little indicator with a pencil or a marker or something and put it back where it was. That's the proper way to do it. I've done this enough, it doesn't matter, and I'm going to reset it. So what we have done, and this is very simple, in the field to get this machine running again. Machine ran when it was pulled out of the shop or the storage unit. It died not too far after. I tried to get it started. It started a little bit and then died, ran rough for a second and then died again. So to me, has spark, had fuel for the minute. It didn't have good carburetor set up. A good carburetor means it was dirty. The jets or whatever wasn't working properly. That's why we're here. Again, super, super simple. Of course, you're supposed to take the rest of this off. You're supposed to clean every little thing. We're not doing that because I need this to run to get to move. This cannot sit out overnight. We've got rain and I think snow coming up this week, which is crazy. Indiana is a psychopath this year with wintertime. But anyway, notice I've got the float on the back held so nothing comes out. We have got this out enough to where we can clean this. Now this is going to happen in probably a way that some people might actually black out here, but I'm going to turn this upside down. This is, again, gum out, super good product. I love this stuff. Other companies make carbon choke cleaner. We use gum out. I guess we're kind of specific on that. We buy it at TSC or Tractor Supply, and we also buy it off Amazon. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go through here again to get this running. I'm going to move kind of fast because the longer this is open to air, the more dirt can get in here, and I don't want that. I'm going to go through every little thing and start spraying and trying to get this cleaned out. So if you can see, maybe you can't, I'm using the needle. I'm going to spray and start cleaning. Lots of dirt's coming out. I feel it coming out the bottom. cool. Let me close this or open this too. Open this up. You want everything to clean out. We're just blowing this out. Again, this is a field repair. This is not ideal. If you, oh, I need to get in the camera. This is not ideal. There's a ton of dirt around here. Not ideal. Now, I also noticed, if you can tell, see if I can hold this away. This is coming out different ports. It's coming out the bottom. It's coming out here. That is your air mixer screw. Again, we just kind of blown it out. If you can tell, I almost fell down. Super. If you kind of tell, we have got this positioned to where we're getting dirt out. Now, I'm going to turn this. I'm going to put this in here in the fuel, and it should come out the bottom. You guys ready? If I can aim and hold. Look at that. Hopefully you see that. Oh. Maybe you can't. You can. Cool. It's coming out the bottom. That is your fuel. Here is your air mixture. Could be fuel side, could be air side. Blow it out, clean it out. Again, field repair. You gotta do what you gotta do. Losing my glasses here, side note. I've never done this on camera, which is kind of funny that I'm actually trying to do this. I've been with guys, I got employees and other things on the construction side of this. I've seen me do this 1,000 times. I always laugh. They're like, oh wow. I'll spray in here. Again, this is a field repair. This is to get us on the road and moving. Again, be careful on this float. Now, I'm underneath here. Spray the bottom. Spray through here. This is where your jets are. Open this up. Spray, spray, spray. Spray, 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 spray. Cool. Get all that dirt out. Spray in here. Breather. Spray in here. Here's another breather. I don't know if I can hold this and spray at the same time. Hopefully you can see it. Spray through here. Look at that. Okay, cool. That's a vent. Now this vent is very important to breathe for the carburetor. Hopefully you see this. It's going to come right out here. Watch when I spray this hose. I think you can see it. Carbon choke cleaner is coming out, which means we're cleaning the vent out. Got a lot of dirt in here. Again, super field repair. Guys, take this apart if you have a chance. Go to a shop indoors, clean. Try to keep these things clean. Don't do this in the field unless you absolutely have to. For us, we have rain coming. For us, this is definitely needs to be moved. This machine is around 5,000–6,000 pounds. It's not too heavy. I don't really want to dig something out to drag it and pick it up if I don't have to. The point is, I'm trying to get this running. So just be super careful. You can do this in the field like we are. Just be careful. There is very, very, very strong possibilities to get dirt and crap in here if you're not careful. Now, I've got this clean enough to where I'm going to move this out of the way. Some people are probably losing their minds right now. And they're like, I can't believe you're doing this in the field. You got to do what you got to do. Now, here's the jet. Top side. We are going to clean this out. I just squirted a little gum out through here. Sweet. Give a little spray. Put that on the side here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Spray number 2. If I can hit the hole. Cool. Bingo. Here's a jet. Clean this out. Here's how I do this. Oh, there's dirt already on it. Clean the outside. I put my finger. Usually, so there's a big hole and there's little tiny ones. I put my finger on the end of one. I put this in here and hold it and then shoot. Watch. See that? You're going to see it all come out. Now, some holes are shooting and some aren't, so it's got stuff in it. Yep, now it's clean. See that? So you just rotate it around. I flip it upside down. It's probably not super healthy to get carbon choke cleaner all over your hand. You're supposed to wear gloves. Again, out in the field. So you got to do what you got to do. Right here, shoot this. Clean. Blow on it. You really want to get to make, or you want to make sure there is nothing in here. I can see you're supposed to get a needle. Side note, you're supposed to get like a little thread cleaner or pipe cleaner or whatever you want to do. You want to make sure you can see through here and there's no dirt in any of these, which I can. I don't know if you can in the camera. This is clean. I have cleaned the junk out of it. Cool. This is going to go right into the, see if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. This is going to go in right now. Thread in. This is also going to thread in. I'm going to go ahead and put this together. The less we have open, the better. Let me use my 15-foot screwdriver here. And I'm going to position this here. If you guys can still see. If you're with me, you guys are troopers. Hopefully you're learning something and you guys like this. Again, like and subscribe. We do stuff like this all the time. Not too tight. No, I made a joke about this one time. Somebody thought it was hilarious. I made a joke. I said this one time. I did not make this joke up. Someone told me in a shop a long time ago, if you ever wonder, you're like, hey, how tight does this need to be? Or how tight do things need to be? Someone told me a long time ago, German torque spec. I never forgot it. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard of in my entire life. German torque spec is essentially good and tight, but the German version is guten tight. And if you're German and you're watching this and you just laughed, awesome. If you hate it, I hope you don't. I think it's hilarious and I think it's super funny. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Very little. I used to know something kind of funny. I don't know if I should say what I know from high school. That's almost 20 years ago now. There was a German exchange student I had a crush on for a little bit, and she taught me a couple things. I don't even remember her name now because it was so long ago. But the point is, I remember a couple things from German class. German class, the first thing I learned was, Du hast ja einen Bleistift, which I think means, do you have a pencil? And the other one was something I'm not going to say on here, but it was pretty funny. And, you know, there's my German for you. I know it's 2 things, and that's it. So, Sprechen Sie Deutsch, very little. I need to learn German again. That's a side note. If you're a German speaker and you're like, hey, use this language to help us learn better, we should do it. Side note. Okay, so clean that out. I'm not trying to ramble here, but it seems like I am. Those of you guys still with me, you guys are amazing. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. Again, 15-foot screwdriver. Tighten this up. Try to be as careful as possible with not getting dirt in. Again, all we've done, field repair, all we have done is we have taken the carburetor apart, German torque spec, guten tight, there. We have taken the carburetor apart. We're in the field. We have blown this out as much as possible, cleaned the jets out. We're taking the fuel bowl. Fuel bowl is pretty clean. I could spray stuff in there. Actually, it's got some dirt in it. Crap. Okay, it's got dirt in it. That's nice and easy. Yeah, that's all right. All right, now, remember, the solenoid goes towards the intake. Get this over here. Make sure your float is still attached, which it is. I can see it. Make sure your spring and everything is what it is. I sprayed it off. Again, field repair. Got a little piece of dirt there. No, I guess it's just, I don't know what that is. It's clean. Side note, this needs to run so we can move it. Cool. Put that on like so. Notice we have not put in our actual air fuel mixtures yet. I usually do that at the very end. Once I close this up, I try to close this up as much as possible, as fast as possible, because it's not super ideal to have all this sitting out in the field, in a ditch, or in the dirt, or in this dusty environment, which Indiana is a psychopath this year. It's a true story. It's been 15 degrees 2 days ago at night with pouring snow, and it's 70 degrees now. I don't know what is happening, but I'll tell you what, when it's 15 degrees out and you're used to 70, it's terrible. When you're used to, or yeah, I said it backwards. Vice versa. When you get used to one side of weather and then it changes, it makes you want to black out. So, hopefully you guys can still see this. Yep. Tighten this up like so. Again, German torque spec. Don't go ballistic missile on this. Don't tighten the absolute piss out of it. Make it snug, guten tight, for like Guten Tag or Guten Tag, which is good morning in German, I believe. Side note, if you are that German girl back in the day and you remember what I'm even talking about or teaching me this stuff, make sure you guys follow and subscribe. Definitely married now. Definitely have a kid, so that's not changing, but it'd be funny to get a follower that way. So, you know, hey. So anyway, snug here. Snug. I like to run around. Again, German torque spec. Guten tight. Guten tight. Cool. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this over. So our fuel bowl's back on. Our needle has been cleaned. Our jets have been cleaned. Everything's been put back together. I've blown every orifice out of this thing. We're going to flip over and put our actual air fuel mixtures in. Now, notice this just fell out of my hand. Screw. This little needle here, if you guys can see it, is what actually controls either the air or the fuel. Again, I don't know which one on this Predator. If you know, awesome. Leave in the comments. If not, it does one or the other. Again, it either controls the air side or the fuel side. I don't know which one. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Get this kind of started. Got a FedEx delivery coming, it looks like. But anyway, so here's this. Blow off. I'm just blowing the tip, blowing here. Again, you're supposed to use shop air. I wiped this off. This is a field repair. I know I keep saying this. Some people are watching this and probably blacking out right now, and they're like, oh, you're gonna get dirt in here, you're gonna do whatever. I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree, it's not ideal. But when you need a machine to move, and this is what's happening, you gotta do what you gotta do. So spring pressure, put a little bit of pressure. Make sure you guys can see this. Cool, push down a little bit, get it started. This is a brass screw, or I believe it's brass. It's a soft metal. I'm gonna run this all the way in and tighten it up. This is, notice I'm using my index finger and my thumb. Do not go crazy. Do not make this any more than it has to. This is definitely a German torque spec. Run it all the way down. Run it here. Now, again, you're supposed to mark these. You're supposed to check these. I'm not doing that. I've done this before. This will work for what I'm doing. Just want to show you guys. So here's this. Tighten this all the way up. Notice, if you can see, hopefully you can, I'm just putting the screwdriver in there, 2 fingers or thumb and finger. Tighten this up. Cool. Now, next thing I'm going to do, this is where you actually start to adjust this. Let me move these paper towels out. I am on my knees on the ground right here, so super cool. Okay, now notice which direction it's facing. The slit of the actual standard screw is right here, so this is going to turn counterclockwise. So we're going to go 1 full revolution and a quarter, or 1 1/2. I'm going to go 1 1/4 for this one. But what I'm going to do, so I've found 1 1/4 to be a sweet spot where we are temperature-wise, weather-wise, generally year-round, and Indiana weather-wise works. I think it's 1 1/2 rotations for most carburetors, possibly 2, maybe a little bit less rotations. This one works very well at 1 1/4. So I'm going to show you how this works. So this little slit in the standard screw, or flathead screw, using a flathead screwdriver, standard. By the way, Phillips is the 4-way. Phillips is a PH sound, like Phillips 4-way. 4-way is the Phillips. Easy way to remember. So I know. So standard, which is flat. Standard, we're going to do a 1/2 a rotation. So right here is where this is up and down. This is right here. I can see it. So 1/2 a rotation. We're going to go 1/2. There's 1/2. Here's 1, and now I'm going to go a quarter. So we were here, and I just got a 1 full rotation. I do it in 1/2 increments. 1/2 is the slit. So the slit of the actual standard screw turns around. Here's this one. Let's see what direction again. It's counterclockwise. Tighten it all the way up. So right now it's pointing towards right here. Again, you're supposed to mark this. I'm not, so bear with me. We have got a 1/2 of a rotation here. 1/2. 1 and then a quarter. That's all we're doing. 1 1/4 rotations. This carburetor is cleaned. Is it perfect? No. Will it run? Yes. Should it run? Yes. If it doesn't run, there's probably something else wrong. However, there's a lot of dirt and a lot of stuff we got out here. What we've just done, I've shown you how to field dress. Imagine, field dressing. Field dress a carburetor on a machine that's out in the dirt right now. Here is your air fuel mixture screw. It either adjusts the air or the fuel. I don't remember which one. I think it's air, but side note. 1 full rotation, 1/2 and a quarter, and then we've cleaned the fuel side out to go through the bowl. We've cleaned the jet, or not jet, this is the vent. Clean the vent out, which that vent's to daylight. Clean that out. I sprayed in here for the throttle plate. If you can see, there's your butterfly valve or throttle plate. Here is your choke assembly here, which you'll have to disassemble this to see. I did not do that. You're supposed to clean this up. I did not do it. We're in the field. But here is your, rephrase, totally was wrong. Here is your throttle plate. Here is your choke. Forget everything I said. This is your choke right here. Choke. Right here. Choke. This is your spring, remember, for your throttle. This is your spring-loaded throttle plate. So when you idle down, the spring shut. You cannot see this because it's under here, and I did not disassemble this. Choke side, which I said wrong a minute ago. This is your choke side. Hopefully you saw this whole thing and I wasn't on the side. Choke side, throttle. Cool. This is cleaned. This is ready for reinstallation. What I'm going to do is I am going to open this hood back up. I'm going to put this together. I'm going to prime this, which I'll show you, which means put fuel in here, and this should run. I'm going to record this for you guys, and bear with me. Guys, thanks for watching this. It's not over yet. There's more to come. I know it's a long video, but hopefully somebody somewhere learned something. So, let's get this going. Alrighty. Round 2, as in, we're going to put this together now. So, what I am doing is putting this carburetor that we just cleaned back in. Hopefully the other video that we just made, which tells me now it won't upload, which makes me want to black out. Hopefully that works like it's supposed to. And hopefully you guys can see this, because I just cleaned this whole thing and field dressed it, which means disassembled it in a cornfield. And I kind of want you guys to be able to see that. So, pretty cool. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this back together. Pull our... Oh, there's our throttle body spacer, or throttle. There's our carb spacer. So, be careful with that. Here's this. Again, guys that are still with me, you guys are troopers. Or girls. That's cool, too. So, we're going to slide this in. Slide the fuel shutoff solenoid first. Make sure everything lines up like it's supposed to. Holes go in. I have already put the choke lever in place. Choke lever is going to go here, snap in, so we don't lose it. If I can see to get it to snap. What is going on? Oh, got to get the right way. Okay, cool. Right here. I know my hand was in the way, and you guys are like, what the heck? Here's that. Okay, cool. That's there. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my bolts in. Bolts, 3 bolts. Long ones, skinny ones. We have cleaned this again in the other video, which this will be the same video. Computer things. I'm bouncing between 2 different cameras and videos. We're outside. I didn't know that these things get hot when you start taping things. I should have known. We haven't done this long enough to know. I think Chance just got home. Oh, there's a truck. Cool. Okay, so gotta eat, right? So we're putting these in here. I'm going to tighten this up. Once I tighten this up, we've got our choke already put together. We're going to put all this back together. I'm trying to rush this through. I like how the videos that, you know, she makes are very short, and the ones I make are like 30 minutes for the most mechanical things. So I guess you'll have that. Okay, so note to self, try to make this stuff faster for you guys, unless you guys are true troopers and you like to see it. So leave in the comments below. Try to be technical and accurate, and also try to film this as long as it takes and talk during it. So yeah, okay, tight. Again, German torque spec, guten tight. Here, here, here. What I typically do, I'm not going to now. Again, this is a field dress side. What I typically do, if I can do this backwards, I take the actual the vacuum controlled or vacuum powered fuel pump, and what I do is I typically clean it out, blow it out. It's got a little vent in there. I've had success where I clean it and then it usually works better from what it is. This is the fuel. I guess I'll just leave it in there. Okay, so anyway, so carburetor is attached, carburetor is installed. Choke is in, choke is attached. Notice when I move this, the choke turns on. This lever turns with the choke lever. This little stand or stud or whatever you want to call it turns the choke. You can't see, but snap-on wrench. The choke plate is in here. What I'm going to do now is push this vent or vacuum. I believe that's the vacuum. Have to look. Maybe that's the emission thing. I think it's the vent for the air. I guess it'd be like a crankcase vent or positive PCV valve or PCV, positive crankcase vent. It goes to the engine and it vents the fuel mixture, or fuel. It vents the engine vapors into the carb. I think that's what it is. Side note. So let me come on the other side. Again, out in the field, adjusting around. We need to hook our fuel up. Put my wrench down. Here is our fuel system. Again, just clean this, slide this in so. Take our needle nose pliers. Push this in. I always turn these, if I can get it in. Turn these where it won't hit anything. Because remember, our actual air filter assembly goes on top of this, but I hit it, I put there so it doesn't hit anything. You want to get this rubber grommet. Remember that grommet we had? Put that back where it goes. This engine will vibrate when it runs. You do not want to have the engine vibrate, which it will. Break a fuel hose and you start spewing gasoline all over the place. So put your grommet back in. That is in there. Cool. Grommet's in. Carburetor's attached. Let's hook the Let's hook the throttle up. Here's our throttle. Throttle's going to go here. I know you guys probably can't see this, but I'm talking through it. You can hook your throttle in. Yep, there's your throttle. Put your little clip down. Cool. Clip is attached. Put your spring back on. Spring goes like so. Spring, if I can do this. Boy, this thing is tight and hard to see in the daylight when the sun's beating on you. Cool. Make sure this works. See if I can come through here. Bingo. Doesn't move much right now because it's not running. There's your throttle. So throttle moves. Throttle again. Cable, spring, lever. Moves your governor down here, mechanical governor, which I'm already moving this, and it's great. Springs in, clips in, attached like so. So our choke is in, our tubes, or our PCV or crankcase vents in. Our fuel system right here, which I forgot how I had that. I have to play with it here in a second. So next thing I'm going to do is put this back on. This is the bottom or lower housing for our air filter. This is going to slide in. It's got little tabs. This goes in the front. These go over this. I think nah, maybe not. You gotta be careful, guys. Don't drop stuff in here. Gotta be careful. So anyway, this, oh, I get it. It's going to attach back here. This is just a little vent to go in the air filter. See that? Again, vent for your carb. There's a hole right there, if you can see that. Plug that in. Tuck that down like so, where it's out of the way. If I can get it. Cool. Out of the way. Yep. Now, we are going to slide this. Here's our fuel. I guess it goes outside. I don't remember how I had this. Maybe it's underneath. I got our fuel filter. Oh, I know what I need to do. I already see it. Side note, it's all the adventure, right? That went under here. That's why it's throwing me off. I'm like, what is happening? Take this off. Pull that off. Yep. Pull that off. This goes over. This goes down. There we go. So the fuel, you just got to route the hoses, right? This is going to tuck under here like so. This is going to go back the way it was. I think my wife is trying to get a hold of me right now because she's got the truck running and looking at me. Side note, sorry babe, I'm taping. So here's that. Cool. Fuel's back in. Grommet is attached like it's supposed to. Fuel filter loose. You do not want anything rubbing or pinching. That's not supposed to. Here's our vent. Put our vent back on. Trying to rush through this because I think the wife is actually trying to grab me. We are going to put this in like so. Boom. Slide this up. Tug this in. This is going to slide down. Now this little valve, or this little, not a valve, this little lever, I guess, or tab, I don't know what you call it. That, put this down where it doesn't pinch. Yep. I'll put that there for now. You don't want it to pinch. You don't want any bends or any, there it goes, 90 degree. You just want nice rotation. So this is here. This is attached in here. Boom, boom, boom. Our housing is on. Our carburetor is attached. This is going to tighten up. This is our spark arrestor, I believe is what they call it. I think it went like that. Oh, it goes like that. Yep. This is going to go like here. Actually, it's going to turn, I think. Like that. Spark arrestor. Maybe it's not spark arrestor. That's not the name for it. What it does is it prevents a backfire from happening. Oh, that definitely has to move. I have that backwards. Nice. I'll put that over here. No, that was right, actually. Maybe not. I'll do it like that. That's how it was. I don't know. It'll work. I'm just trying to get this out of the field here, so I can get picky with it later. I guess that's how it goes. Is that how it goes? Hell, I might have had it backwards last time. Nah, I'll do it like this. Final answer. I'll mess with it later. This is a safety thing in case it backfires. I know that. It's for spark and flame. The way the plastic's set up, I think it's supposed to go like that, but hard to say. If you know better, do it right. I'm just putting it in there. So, let's tighten this up. I'm using my hand to tighten. While this is going, I've got a video I just made cleaning this whole carb out. It was 22 minutes long. We'll shorten that down a little bit, but for some reason I can't get the file to load, which that's a cool deal. I always like it when you do something like this and then you're like, oh wow, I just found the limitations of something I've never done before, which is like a video. Cool. Tighten this up. Again, it helps if you have a ratchet and it helps if you have the right tools. So snug. This is also German torque spec. This is guten tight. I'm sure this has an actual rating. To what it is, I'm not entirely sure. Doesn't really matter because this just holds it on. So tighten it up here. Perfect. Well, bam. Tighten up. Again, snug. Guten tight. Good and tight. Good and tight. Cool. That's on. This is loose. This is in. That air or fuel's in, carburetor's in, whole 9 yards. This is a filter, which I think it's the new to me one. I don't know. Could be the one I took out. It's not too dirty. Side note. Again, it's going to the shop, so it'll work. This goes on here. Cool. Now, this little knob, which is nowhere to be found. Where did I put that little knob? Oh, it's over here. Cool. I see it. Again, working outside, move stuff for the camera. This is going to thread here. I'm just going to loosely set it for now. Cool. This is going to go here. Also forgot something because I set it out of the way. Undo this, I'm right here, so it's okay. This is a little metal grommet. This helps hold the air filter down so it doesn't pop up when you're driving or operating. Well, does it need it? I don't know, but I'm going to put it in there. So here's that. Cool. Put everything back the way you had it, if by all means possible. Here's our 670 front cover. This is going to slide down like so. This has got to, oh, well, I already see what happened. Cool. All right, that's what I was talking about earlier. I couldn't remember. If you remember when I was talking about this, I was like, this fuel goes somewhere. And I see where it goes. I'm going to have to undo this again. Well, you're supposed to undo this. This goes outside here. I can see it. I'm going to try to lift this without breaking anything. And be careful. But it saved me some time from hooking this up the wrong way. No, that can't be right. Oh boy, I'm doing this on camera too, so that's cool. Well, that's gonna go here. See, sometimes you don't even think. I can't think straight sometimes when I try to tape and try to do stuff, so we're doing it together. It has to go over there. All right, let's do it this way. Final answer. I think that's how it was. I'll look back in the video. Cool, that's gonna go here. That's out of the way. That's not stretching. I can feel it. I didn't have to undo it. I just pulled the plastic up. Just be careful. I think there is a Phillips in here that's supposed to be in there. I didn't pull it out because it wasn't there. So I don't know if I didn't put it there. I don't know if... Oh, man, look at that. That's how it goes. Okay, cool. Now we're lined up. Okay, well, you'll have that. You'll have that. Okay, so this is going to go here. This is going to go down. Again, rubber grommet. All right, now we're cooking with Crisco. This is going to go here. Looky, looky. Cool deal. Thread that down. Bingo, wingo. Here we go. That's everything. So, guys, what's going to happen now? I'm going to put these final little front cover bolts in. I am going to move this camera, close the hood. I'm going to show this thing starting and running for you guys. So, essentially, if I can get this other video to load too, which is super important, you guys just learned how to, in the field, take a carburetor apart, clean the entire jets, clean the bowl, clean everything that you need to clean out of the carburetor. Look at my hand already turning white from that chemical. Super, should have wore gloves. You learned how to do it in the field. You got to do what you got to do. This machine is stuck out in the dirt right now. We have to move it to our shop. What I'll probably do, it needs an oil change anyway. Again, first time of the year we actually ran this or got this going. What we're going to do is we're going to get it to the shop right now, put it on a trailer and take it there. Our shop is at another location. We are going to take this apart, service it. We'll do that in a separate video if you guys like it. If you don't want to see it, leave in the comment. Be like, hey, I'm tired of this Terramite. I don't want to see it anymore. We love Terramite. I think they're a really cool setup. Really good for what we do. And we like it. So anyway, here's the point. Guys, we just took apart a carburetor. We just disassembled the entire thing. Cleaned it in the field. Not as clean as it should have been, but we got it clean. It should run. It should start. I'm going to move the camera. I'm going to close the hood, and we'll get this going. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Hopefully you can see me. This is a super awkward way to film this. I was not prepared. My wife usually helps me with these, and she was out in town right now. So we just did all this. We're going to get it going and show you how we do it. Got a helmet on, by the way, because it's loud and I don't want to hit my head. Hopefully you guys can see this. Wait, we got to turn the fuel on. Oh, it's already on. Forgot I did that. Okay, here we go. you got to get the fuel into the fuel bowl. So what I do is I usually crank it a couple times. I've got the the throttle to wide open. What we need to do is that vacuum pump needs to circulate, which the vacuum pump activates when the engine's operating, or turning over, I should say, when you're cranking it. We need to get the fuel bowl filled up with fuel and from the fuel tank, and then it should run. Do it a couple times. What you can do, if it's gravity filling up, by the way, we just took apart the whole carburetor. Sometimes I give a little squirt of go juice. I don't know if you guys can see this. We're going to give a little squirt of go juice and get this going as well. Just a little inspiration. A little go juice, just a little spray. It should fire, it should run, should turn on. Tighten this up. Cool. Close this. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. That's normal. So it's going to run and then die because it's got air in the fuel. The fuel bowl's not filled up. Again, the little squirt of ether was to speed up engine RPM to try to get more fuel, vacuum to make the fuel pump pull more fuel through the fuel bowl. So let's try again. Again, we're trying to fill the fuel bowl up, totally normal. I'm going to give a little squirt of go juice again. Little inspiration. Again, just took the whole carburetor out. Cleaned everything. Fuel bowl is totally empty. Give it a little squirt. Nothing much. A little spray. I'm just spraying on top of the air filter just to inspire or inspiration to get it going. So, here's this. Close this. Now, once we get enough RPM and get enough vacuum and get enough fuel through, it should run. I'm at wide open throttle still on this thing. That's it. Cool. Now, I lifted the hood up so you guys can see. I don't know where the camera's pointing. I'll go down here. So obviously it runs. RPM works up and down. Again, it might still have some air in the fuel system. The fuel bowl may or may not be totally full right now. That's okay. What we've done is we've taken a machine that's carbureted, did not run. We pulled it out of our storage unit, did not get it to run, in the field, in the dirt, took it apart, cleaned everything, put it back together, and got it to run. So, guys, it's just that simple. If you have a carbureted machine and you're stranded somewhere and it has good spark, you could put a little ether in there or starter fluid. If it wants to start or tries to start, it's got spark, it's got ignition, it's got the whole 9 yards mechanically, good compression, good everything. If it's still not run, if it still doesn't run after you squirt that stuff in, and again, this is not 100%, but usually what we found, carburetor needs cleaned out. We were going to do it anyway. This was actually getting ready to load up onto a trailer to go to the shop to then disapart and get ready for this year anyway. So we just did it in the field. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys had some fun. I think my wife's walking up now. Hopefully you guys had some fun. Again, this is not ideal in the field. I just wanted to show you that this is possible and you can do this. I'm going to turn this machine back on. We're going to load it on the trailer and we're going to take off. Like and subscribe if you like stuff like this. Again, leave in the comments if you have a suggestion or how you do it or success for you. This is what I do. This is what I just did. I filmed the whole process for you guys. It wasn't as clean as it should have been. It wasn't in an environment. It should have been like a clean shop and air and blowing things out. This was using the tools that we had, using the machine that got stuck out in the dirt, putting it together and getting it to work for you guys. So my name's Aaron. This is Outrunning Ordinary. Like and subscribe, and thank you.